برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر وعبر WNZK Radio 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
And good morning, everybody. This is Ray Hanania. I'm in Chicago, broadcasting on WNZK AM 690 in Detroit, and also online all over the place. Occupied Jerusalem, occupied Golan Heights, occupied Syria, occupied Iraq, occupied Yemen, politically occupied Egypt, and I'm trying to think what other occupied countries. Practically the whole Middle East is occupied. It's Friday, April 12th, 2019, and you're listening to the Arab Street Radio and broadcast from Detroit, Michigan through 690 AM WNZK. We're taking your calls at 248-557-3300. We got lots of topics this morning. First, we're going to be talking about the Israeli elections that took place on April 9th. And we're also going to talk about the Arab vote, the fact that they didn't vote. I'm just frustrating dealing with Arabs. I'm an Arab, okay, so I get to talk this way, and people don't like it, go, oh, why are you so negative? Pound it, because I'm going to tell you what, the Arabs undermine themselves. They have an opportunity to change things, and instead they get angry, they get emotional, they boycott everything. They can't, oh my God, I'm not going to vote because I don't like Netanyahu. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to vote because Benny Gantz is the same as Netanyahu. He's no different. The Israeli parties, we have no hope. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, please. I'm really tired of the self-destructive attitude that we have in the Arab community in here and in the Middle East. Because had they voted, they could have made a difference. But we'll talk about that. And, of course, I'm a little emotional about it. You could read my column on that very topic if you want by going to MiddleEastMemo.com or thedailyhookah.com. I did write something about that. And we're also, we're going to talk about, is it the end of the line for Trump? I always, first of all, Trump, we had no alternative. Now, if you voted for Hillary Clinton, it was just voting for the same old lying destruction. She would lie to your face, say she supports peace in the Middle East. Clinton and Obama would always talk the talk, right? They'd always talk about, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And of course they did nothing except that more Palestinians were injured or died while they were in office than when even President George W. Bush, the guy that was partier in college, was in office, okay? The guy who avoided military service and got clouded into the Texas reserves. They did more than him in terms of hurting Palestinians. So, we get, our choice is really terrible. From Obama and Clinton, we get happy talk and destruction of everything that we support. Or we go to somebody like Trump, who's a wild card. He's crazy. I get it. The guy's nuts. Got a big mouth, his ego, makes me sick. I wish I could do his media because I'd shut him up. I'd, zip him closed and get him, because you could, and I'll tell you what, he was the only choice we had, because he was going to disrupt everything. And honestly, to an extent, he has disrupted everything. He has changed everything. But as Arabs, instead of looking at it, we never look at the situation as something that's worth working. We never roll up our sleeves and fight to get what we want. If it isn't handed to us on a platter, we don't want it. We turn around and we bury our heads in the sand. And that's what we did with Trump. Trump was an opportunity where, yeah, we didn't like everything that he was saying, but how was he any different than the rest of them? So why didn't we try to work with them and try to keep him on our side? Instead, we have pushed him away, we've blown him away, and now we say, look, we told you he was going to be terrible after we did everything, to pretty much make him an enemy. And I'll tell you what, you don't see what the power of the presidency has, and it really exposes, though, Trump has done one thing for the Arab world. He has exposed the hypocrisy of the Arab world and the Arab activists in the United States. And again, I don't care. People can get mad at me, but I'm going to tell the truth. That's what I do. Trump exposed us. He recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's capital. He moves the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He declares that the Golan Heights is Israeli territory. He shuts down the Palestinian office. He ends all the money for Palestinian refugees. He says that he's not going to let Omar Barghouti, the leader of the BDS, by the way, who was blocked from coming into the United States. And what do? Nothing. We are like the Arabs in Israel who buried our head in the sand while mumbling and complaining and screaming and going, oh, look what he did to us. He was terrible. Didn't I tell you Trump was going to be terrible? I'm going, oh, my God. That's our reaction to everything, good, bad, or ugly. We don't really want to do the work. I think sometimes that we would rather have the suffering because it's easier to be a victim who does nothing than somebody who tries to stand up and strategically achieve what we need. We could have dealt with Trump. We could have, our leaders. The Arab world tried, but we get nothing. I'm telling you, there's so much opposition to him. And he's crazy. I mean, listen, honestly, he's crazy. But who was it that, implemented the harshest immigration policies on the border? You think it was Trump? It was Obama. Give me a break, people. Quit being hypocrites about who does what and who doesn't. I mean, to me, that's the biggest issue. And the Israeli elections are the epitome of this problem. The Israeli elections expose what the real problem is in the Arab world. We don't want to get up and do anything. We're used to it. Maybe, we've been conditioned over hundreds of years by the dictators and tyrants who control us to sit there and swallow our pride in public and go to a hefla or a little party where we're with our friends and family and complain. Because that's all we're doing is complaining. We're not doing anything. All the stuff that, all the big rhetoric, the tough rhetoric. Listen, I do like this Ilhan Omar. I give her credit. She's pretty smart. That the Somali Arab Muslim candidate from Minnesota. I really think she has potential for leader. Rashida Tlaib, listen, I'll take bets with anybody. She's not going to get reelected. I think, she has some flaws. She already blocked me on Twitter. She doesn't like me. That's our problem with Arabs. I like him. I don't like him. They like me if I yell and scream, if I call people names, if I do nothing, they will like me. But when I tell them the truth, hey, they don't like me. The fact is, Rashida's district is majority, predominantly African American. She needs to roll up her sleeves, and in order to be successful for the Arab community in her district and the country as first Palestinian woman elected to the Congress, she needs to win their support. And she came close to not winning and only won because the African American vote in her district was divided. If African Americans come together, she's a goner. It's over for Rashida. So she gets 2 years to pound the pavements and yell and scream and do some cute things. I mean, there's a moment. You can't deny the pride, and I can't deny the pride in seeing a Palestinian wearing a Palestinian outfit in the Congress. There's a moment of pride, but it's not enough. You have to earn your leadership, and I don't believe Rashida can do it. she'd never come on my radio show. I've invited her many times, but she doesn't want to come on here because she doesn't want to have to deal with the criticism, because that's her life right now. Happy talk from her community. She enjoys being celebrated. She enjoys being patted on the back. You're the great one. You're the Mahdi. Maybe she's the Mahdi for all I know. I don't know. The Messiah, our political Messiah, the political Mahdi. She's come here to save us, but she's not going to save anything. What she is going to do is say what we like to hear and then probably lose. And I think that's a major tragedy and a waste of time. All right? That's just the way it is. The worst part of all of this conversation is April is now Arab American Heritage Month. In Illinois, it used to be in November. But we fought with Mayor Emanuel, at least some of us did. The Chicago mayor, whose father was a member of the Irgun terrorist organization in Palestine. And we fought with Mayor Rahm Emanuel, and he did everything. The moment he came into office, he canceled the Arabesque Fest in Chicago. He canceled and closed the Arab Advisory Commission. He did nothing to recognize Arab Americans in November. And the truth is, we didn't do anything. When we do nothing, people like Rahm Emanuel can look at us and take advantage of us and do whatever they want. And that's what Rahm Emanuel did. We tried working with him. I know that Mansour Tadros, who's the publisher of the Future News here in Illinois, for a long time, it was one of the biggest Arab American newspapers. For about almost 15 years, Mansour published it. Just recently, the Future News went online because he can't get any ads from, the huge Arab population in the Chicagoland area, 450,000 Arabs. They don't understand the power of PR. They don't understand the power of advertising or marketing. He can't get any ads. He can't survive. So he closes his newspaper. And do you know that we're like a newspaper desert in the United States? We have a couple newspapers. Detroit is the only one that has a weekly newspaper, the Arab American News. And I love Osama Sablani's paper. It's phenomenal. It's but it can't even reach the extent that it needs to because it doesn't get the support. It can barely publish in, Michigan. And it's hard to find people that even know how to write, to just write stories, to tell our story. Everybody wants to be a political columnist. Listen, I was a reporter writing stories for 20 years before I became a columnist. That's the blues, the Arab journalism blues, by the way. I covered politics. I worked hard, and then I earned the right to express my opinion because it's informed commentary. We don't have informed commentary anymore. Now we just have everybody's shoot from the hip opinion, and everybody's a columnist. Nobody wants to write the hard stuff. The story of the history of Arabs in America. They're like only a couple books. One that was published by, I can't think of her name, the woman who worked at the Arab American Museum, and my book about Arabs of Chicagoland. After that, there's nothing. Because we don't think it's important to tell our story. That's exactly what we should be doing, telling our story. But everything is backward. I feel like I grew up watching Superman. I feel like I'm in a bizarro world. The whole Arab community is in a bizarro world. We're the opposite of what we should be. And I know we have the potential to be great. And I wish leaders who could change things would step up to the plate to bat. The Roger Marist Abdullah of the Arab American community, the Babe Ruth Mahmoud of the Arab American community, huh? Those would be some pretty cool sluggers, but we don't have any. We just don't. We get a lot of people that farm the emotion. They're farmers of emotion. We're anguished, we suffer, and we have leaders who farm that emotion and harvest it for their own benefit and profit. And I'll tell you what, if we ever had peace between Israel and Palestinians, 90% of the activists would be thrown out on the street, out of jobs, and unemployed. They'd have no place to work. Let's be honest. What good are they? I feel bad. I came back from a conference in Harvard, the Arab conference in Harvard, it was just so nice to see so many people. The only thing it lacked was a real call to action. There were a lot of panels about, Syria, the refugees, and Palestinians, and a lot of it was anger, except for Omar Badr from the Arab American Institute. He was phenomenal. I thought he was really good. And then there was an inspiration, and because he told us what we need to do. Omar Badr told us, you got to do this, you got to do that. This is what we have to do. The rest of them really talked about, they destroyed our villages, they took away our land, the Israelis are bad people, that we're going to boycott them, we're going to win one day. Boy, that one day is a long way off. I'm Ray Hanania. It's April 12th, and you're listening to the Arab Street Radio and podcast, which is part of the U.S. Arab Radio Network, hosted by my good friend, another struggling Arab American who doesn't care what people think. She just does the right thing, Layla El-Husseini. We're trying to energize and empower Arab Americans, but somehow those words don't mean anything to many people in our community. You can go online and listen to us live when you're not in Detroit. You could check out her arabradio.us website or mine, thedailyhookah.com or hanania.com. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, I'll keep complaining about the failures of the Arab American and Palestinian community, and in the hopes that maybe one person out there, one young person, will wake up and do things different, and bring about change and success. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to be right back right after these messages.
If halal is important to your family, you can trust that Miramar will offer not only the highest quality halal products, but the best tasting and healthiest foods that can be placed on your family table with confidence. Miramar is the first and oldest halal certified food brand in America, serving the Arab and Muslim community, and offers a wide range of halal food products. Check out Miramar's halal food selection today by visiting Miramar's executive distributor, Ziyad Brothers Importing, at www.ziyad.com.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
It's all in one grocery store, and that store is Zamzam Fresh Foods Market. Zamzam Fresh Foods Market offers fresh vegetables, halal meats, a great fresh bakery, as well as nuts and spices and much more. They also offer special deals every Wednesday, so don't forget to ask for your favorite foods, as shish kebabs are ready to go. So please stop by Zamzam Fresh Foods Market at 24065 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-476-0300. Again, that phone number is 248-476-0300, and they are open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Zamzam Fresh Foods Market is your one-place stop for all your grocery shopping needs and your favorite foods.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio. I'm Ray Hanania here at WNZK AM 690, and let's go to our phone lines at 248-557-3300. There must be a few people that want to change the way we do business, in the Arab American community. Jerry Haba.
Good morning to you, Mr. Ray Hanania.
We always have bad news, don't we? The elections, everything is terrible.
Ray,
we don't have good news. Is it a surprise and I'm in a bad mood?
Ray, I have a good news to Mr. Ray Hanania, to all the Arab, Chaldean, American. Congratulations, Ray. Yesterday, a history was made in the great state of Michigan when Representative Mr. Abdullah Hammoud from the 15th district in Detroit went to Lansing yesterday, and they were voted that April will be recognized the Arab American Heritage Month.
That's
so congratulations.
Yeah, that's one of our topics that we're going to talk about, because I've been working with Warren and Amal David in Washington, D.C. And I give Warren and Amal credit, because with their website, arabamerica.com, they kind of brought everybody together. So we moved, even in Illinois, we changed Arab Heritage Month from November to April, because all of the states, about, I think, between 15 and 19 states have recognized Arab heritage. But I will tell you, Jerry, you got to give us in Illinois credit. Better than anybody, we got a law passed that says April is Arab Heritage Month. That's what happens when you know what I mean? You work hard, and you don't settle, and you don't give up. So my law trumps your proclamation.
Right, special when you consider...
I'm just bragging.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Right, Detroit, the greater Detroit, is the capital of the Arab American outside the Middle East. And especially, the Dearborn and the East Side, Sterling Heights over here, the East and the West will be united. Regardless, right, some negative things happened a couple of years ago when some of my brother Muslim Arab, they thought the Chaldean Christians, they were against them, and it was some kind of negative things, but those negative issue, we dissolve them, because we have, right, you said something before. Jerry, the average American person doesn't know the difference between Jerry Habba, he's a Chaldean, or Abdullah Mahmoud, he's a Muslim, or
Arab American Heritage Month should recognize the Chaldeans, who are Christians from the Middle East. Technically, Chaldeans, they embrace Arab culture, they speak the Arabic language, they eat Arabian food, right? They hang around with Arabs like me, Jerry. You're Chaldean and I'm Palestinian. We hang around together. But ethnically, I think that, Chaldeans look at themselves as Chaldeans first, correct?
Chaldean, like you said, right, the pioneer, the native people of Iraq 5,000 years ago. The Chaldean, look, right, even in the history books, in Baghdad, when we were learning Arabic language as a Chaldean, you have to learn Arabic language no matter if you are Jewish, Chaldean, Assyrian, Kurdish, everything. So we learned that. And right on the history book, it used to say, Al-Arabu qabla al-Islam. Al-Arabu qabla al-Islam. Means the Arab was before any religion, before Prophet Muhammad, before Jesus Christ. Look at Hatem.
See, I think Jesus was an Arab. He just didn't know it.
Exactly.
He just didn't know he was Arab. We helped him figure it out, I think, and all the followers. Because there are a lot of Arabs that look at me and say, well, from the Muslim side and the Christian side, especially among the Lebanese, they go, Ray, you're Christian. You are impossible. You cannot be Arab.
Ray, excuse me.
You can't be that.
If I interrupt you, Ray, do you know, Ray, Jesus Christ, Palestinian people, they consider Jesus the first Arab commando in the Middle East when he was crucified. Even Yasser Arafat, PLO, former leader, God bless him, he used to say to the Pope when he visited Jerusalem, the Jerusalem proud of her son, Jesus Christ, the first Fidai في الأراضي المقدسة, the first commando. And you know, right, the Holy Family, Mary and Joseph and Jesus the baby, they were the first immigrant in the history of Middle East when he took her to Egypt, running away from that bad king, the one who was trying to massacre all the babies who they born to the years 2 years old. So actually, I just want, with my respect to President Donald J. Trump, to tell him, Mr. President, my Lord Jesus and the Holy Family, they were the first immigrants to take refuge and asylum in Egypt, and they were accepted. They were not thrown outside the board. So,
listen, I'm glad that Chaldeans are participating in Arab American Heritage Month, because they are a major part of the Arab community, even though they have their own identity, which I think is phenomenal. Chaldeans love me. I get a lot of response from Chaldeans, and a lot of Muslims support me too, lots of them, but some of the activists don't like me because, in our community, they always say, don't put out the dirty laundry, don't show the dirty laundry. And I go, no, we have to clean the dirty laundry. So let's collect the dirty laundry, let's wash the dirty laundry, and let's make it clean laundry. They want to bury the dirty laundry, and I won't do that. They get really upset.
Right, my friend Chaldean, we are proud to be the Arab-spoken people. We speak Arabic like anybody else.
Exactly.
And the Chaldean, they built this great state of Michigan. Chaldean, they came over here in the early 19th century, and they gave up a lot. They start from Mexico, right? They start from Mexico, and then they came to Detroit, because Detroit is the capital motor of the world. And my people, the pioneer, they were buying fabrics, and they were going from door to door, knock on the door to sell fabric to the American people.
I have many cousins who settled in Detroit, and we used to drive the 4 hours from Chicago to Detroit when I was young in the 50s and 60s to visit them, because Detroit was kind of the Plymouth Rock of the Arab American community in America. And if you wanted to get spices and, the things we needed to make the Arabian food, the jamid and all that, we had to go to Detroit, or we had to take an empty suitcase and fly back to the Middle East.
Right. Do you know tahina? Tahina, right? Tahina was made in Mosul in a village they call it Tel Kef. And Tel Kef is one of the pioneer village in Mosul. And most Chaldean who they are in America, they are from Tel Kef. Besides that, we have other small villages like Al-Qosh, Batnaya, Telescof, Bakofa, Hamdaniya, so on. So there are so many of them. With my respect to all of them, I cannot repeat them. But tahiniya, the famous tahiniya, been made in Detroit, made in USA. Yeah. My people, they brought the recipe from over there. Detroit has a culture. It's so beautiful, like a treasure for our new generation. So the Chaldean, they participate besides their Middle Eastern brother and sister to build Detroit, to build Michigan, and they put their culture and melt it with the American culture. That's why we are very proud to be Arab, Chaldean, American, to build this country. God bless you, Ray.
Thanks, Jerry. Enjoy Arab American Heritage Month. This is the one time.
As a journal in Chicago, please, Ray, I have a favor to you to ask you. There is more than 1,000 Iraqis. They are threat to be deported from this country. And they've been in this country 40, 50 years, Ray. And they spent the time in a prison when they did violation. Right now, Ray, those 144 people, the first group, they are facing deportation by the ICE. I would ask President Donald J. Trump to look at those people.
What happened to him? I didn't even hear the story. This is amazing. Right. You know, that's one of the problems with not having a good Arab American media that we're always fighting.
Communication, you're right.
The Middle East, we don't talk about the issues right in front of our faces.
You see, Mr. Ray Hanani, I'm not a politician. I don't have organization. But when I speak out for my people, for the Chaldean, for the Arab, we have 10 organizations in Michigan. I know few lawyers, they did defend those detainees who they have been held in for the past 2 years. I know we have an attorney, her name, Nadine Kalasho, and another attorney. They've been trying to stop this order, but lately, right, last week, the, what they call it, Mahkamat al-Istinaf, the appeal court, reject the decision of Mr. Golden Smith, the judge who stopped the deportation, but now they say, no, you cannot do that.
All right.
It's against the Constitution.
All right, Jerry, I'm going to look at that, and honestly, that's a story that I think needs to be told, and I'm going to check that out.
Please, like, those people, they've been living here 40, 50 years. They even, if they go to Baghdad, Iraq, people in Baghdad, Iraq, they are leaving the country.
Recognize them, right?
What they going to do in Iraq? They don't know how to speak Arabic now.
Right. All right, Jerry, thank you for calling.
God
you have
bless
a great
you,
Arab American Heritage Month. Visit ArabAmerica.com, too, and check out that Arab American Heritage Month stuff. And also visit my website at Hanania.com. I'm Ray Hanania. It's April 12th here at the Arab Street Radio and podcast broadcast from Detroit. I'm in Chicago. Online with Mike, who is our producer. Our number is 248-557-3300. Let's take another break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about the elections in Israel, Arab American Heritage Month, and what we really need to do to advance ourselves. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552, and the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247. When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. I'm Ray Anani. Our number is 248-557-3300. If you want to join in and talk about any of our topics, anything you want to bring up, it is Arab American Heritage Month. And listen, of all the time we should be enjoying the fact that we're Arab, it's now, this month. April is a good month. We used to do it in November. It's always cold, like Chicago politics was cold. Very difficult, and for the past 7 years, Arab American Heritage Month in Illinois, which used to be in November, was killed, massacred, was destroyed, was murdered, was suffocated, was just totally decimated by Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who fortunately nobody could beat him, but he decided to get out of office. He decided to retire. He worked with Obama and then became a congressman in Illinois and then became Chicago mayor. He served 2 terms. It was probably the darkest time in Arab American history was under Mayor Rahm Emanuel. In fact, I wrote about, Mayor Emanuel's refusal to give me an interview. And I wonder why he's any different from Rashida Tlaib, who refuses to give me an interview too. And I don't care about her. She's not going to be there long. She doesn't understand politics of staying in office. But I wrote a column criticizing Rahm Emanuel, and it was called a pretend interview. I don't have the exact title. I have to look it up. I think it was like a pretend interview with Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. And I did what I asked and answered the questions that I thought would be asked and answered if Mayor Rahm Emanuel had the courage to sit down and allow me to interview him. And I'll let you know that I won a nomination for a big journalism award for that column from the Chicago Headline Club, and it'll be announced if I win. I have one other competitor with Crane Chicago Business column. A friend of mine, Greg Hines, wrote my column and his column are the 2 finalists for the best column category for the Chicago Headline Club. So I'm really proud that I was able to fight with Rahm Emanuel and turn it into an accolade for myself. So there you go, Rahm. I don't care. It was worth fighting you for 7 years to possibly win this Peter Lissiger Award. I already have 4 Lissiger Awards. This will be my 5th if I win, or my 9th finalist nomination, which is still an honor. So I appreciate. I'll take my bows now because I don't like to go to the journalism dinners to accept these awards because I know I'll get up there and I'll say some bad things about American journalists. Even though I like the Chicago Headline Club, out of all the Society of Professional Journalists chapters, the Chicago Headline Club is the best in the country and one of the biggest. And I like them and I like all of them, but I don't like the Society of Professional Journalists because they're racist and anti-Arab. Their national leadership. They did everything they can to undermine Arab American journalists in the Society of Professional Journalists, and several Arab Americans who don't care. There are a lot of Arab American journalists who are just happy to be journalists, so they don't want to fight with them. So, they'll be kind of like the yes ma'am, yes sir type of journalists that'll do what they're told and never fight back. And of course, I can't be like that. I always fight back, and of course, it gets me in trouble sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. These elections this past week in Israel really disappointing, and it fits into this attitude where we don't even have our own self-respect. The Arabs of Israel, think about it. In 2015, all the Arab Israeli leaders and parties, the political parties, I think there are 4 of them, they got together and they formed one party. And they won 13 seats. This unified slate that they put together won 13 seats, and that was significant. But it was only, this joint list that they created with the Ram, Balad, Slate, and Hadash, Ta'al, all of them. They managed to take 13 seats out of 120 Knesset seats. So they were there. It's about 11%, just off the top of my head. I'm going to say about 11%. But 11% is far below what their potential was, because the Arabs in Israel represent 20% of the population. They're 20% of the vote. They should have, in a Knesset of 120 seats, they should have 24 seats, maybe even 25. But they can't come together. And in the last election, 2015, under the leadership of the joint list, Ayman Oda and Ahmed Tibi, deputy leader of the Knesset, they were only able to get about 63% of the vote out of the Arab vote to vote. Meanwhile, the Jewish voters really they were a little low too. But in this past election, the Israelis, Benjamin Netanyahu, got out there and he said, "Hey, this is an election between Tibi and Bibi." Bibi being the nickname for Benjamin Netanyahu, and Tibi being the surname of Ahmed Tibi, one of the more prominent Arab Israeli members of the Knesset. Smart guy. I've met him and interviewed him several times. And they sent, their crazy Israeli settlers into the Arab polling places with cameras, 1,200 cameras. They sent 1,200. They gave cameras to their activists. Why don't the Arabs give cameras to the, Palestinians? So we could document all the racism and violence from Israel's government. And, when I criticize Israel, or even the, the leadership, I'm talking about the government. I'm not talking about Jews and Arabs, because basically most of us can get along. Same way as I criticize the leadership of the Arab community, I'm not criticizing, Muslims or Christians as people. We're just being misled by the wrong people on both sides. But in Israel, the misleading tends to achieve something. So here they're calling us names in Israel. They're warning the Jewish community, you got to worry that the Arabs are going to take over. They say all these bad things about Arab voters in Israel, and instead of running to the polls to vote 100%, can you imagine, which would be tough, but they're 20% of the voting population. If they had voted, they could have got 24 or 25 seats, and that would have been the third highest. In the Knesset, they would have been a player. They would be a significant voice. But instead, they got angry at what was said, what Benjamin Netanyahu said, and they voted against by boycotting. They stayed home. They didn't vote. And their Arab population vote was estimated to be around 50%, maybe 48%. So now we only have 10 seats in the Knesset, and of course that justifies the extremist rhetoric of the fanatics in the Arab American community, the activists who say, see, we told you, they never allow us to have our representation. No, you guys stop them from being represented, just the way you stopped the peace process in the 90s with suicide bombings and extremist rhetoric and hate. It's just a terrible thing. It's disappointing to somebody like me, because it's in our power. The only good news out of the whole election, I know, and it's hard to find it, that two of the most racist Israeli cabinet members, Naftali Bennett, the education minister, and Ayelet Shaked, and just for a woman to be so ugly racist is beyond me. She's the justice minister. I always called her the injustice minister because she was so racist and hate-driven. Naftali Bennett and Ayelet Shaked, their egos pushed them to create their own party, quote, the new right, they call themselves, but they failed to get the 3.25% of the vote that they needed to get into the parliament. And remember, in 2014, 2015, Israel imposed a threshold of 3.25% of the vote. If you didn't get over 3.25% of the vote, then you could not take a seat no matter how many votes your party got. And that was intended to undermine the Arabs, which is why the Arabs came together when they did to form, their party and take 13 seats, in the 2015 election. It was it's just satisfying that purely by accident, and that's how Arabs advance, right? It's purely by accident that the quote-unquote Israeli New Right of Ayelet Sheked and Naftali Bennett, two of the biggest racists in Israel. There's the stuff they say are just crazy. These young, right-wing, probably Russian, they're just horrible people. It's so good to see them lose. But they didn't lose because of us as Arabs. They lost because they were fighting with Netanyahu, and Netanyahu is the king. Now, he's won 4 terms as Israeli prime minister. He served 4 back in the 90s, and then he served this past 10 years, because they're 5-year terms, and now he got elected. He actually tied with Benny Gantz, the Blue and White Party, which tried to be conservative, but still, even though a lot of Arabs didn't like them, I always thought that Benny Gantz, had to be conservative to pander to the growing vote in Israel that's moving to the right, to get power. And the only way you can help people is when you get power. It's like Rashida Tlaib. She needs to understand that the only way you can help people is to actually win the election. So she really needs to, Rashida, to use the lesson of what's happening, she needs to kind of get down to the grindstone and start working for her district and winning the votes of African Americans and focusing on their concerns too. She can't just focus on the concerns of, the Palestinians. It's great that she wears a Palestinian gown. But here's some free advice, Rashida, from a 40-year long political consultant who has represented over 200 politicians and government leaders over the past 20 years since I left full-time journalism as a reporter. And remember, I'm not a reporter journalist. I am an opinion columnist, and I do a lot of consulting. Wear an African gown once in a while, okay? Show your allegiance to your district, and get them to feel pride in you, and follow you, and that will do more to help the Palestinians than simply throwing your name and your rhetoric on the national agenda to try and make people happy in the Arab American community. I'm happy you won. I really am. But I'm going to be happier if you win again and if you become inclusive instead of exclusive. This is the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. It's just about time where we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we can talk some more about the Israeli elections and Arab American Heritage Month. And if you want to call in, you can call in at 248-557-3300. 248-557-3300. Tell me what you think. You don't have to agree with me. It's called discussion. That's what we want. And we'll be happy to put you on and talk to you about any issues that you feel are important in the Arab American community. 248-557-3300. We're going to be right back right after these messages.
It's all in one grocery store, and that store is Zam Zam Fresh Foods Market. Zam Zam Fresh Foods Market offers fresh vegetables, halal meats, a great fresh bakery, as well as nuts and spices and much more. They also offer special deals every Wednesday, so don't forget to ask for your favorite foods, as shish kebabs are ready to go. So please stop by Zam Zam Fresh Foods Market at 24065 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-476-0300. Again, that phone number is 248-476-0300. And they are open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Zam Zam Fresh Foods Market is your one-place stop for all your grocery shopping needs and your favorite foods.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي،
واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الاكل المصري،
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالاكل العراقي، واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم. اعتمدوا علينا ايا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف ان لكل مذاق اسرار، فنحن نقدم اجود انواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم أطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 50 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio. I'm Ray Hanania. Remember, our website is hanania.com, the dailyhookah.com. They're actually the same. People always look up Ray Hanania, and that'll take you right to all my websites. But that's the hub. That's the hub of all my writing at the Daily Hookah. It has links to the columns that I write for the Arab News, which is the largest English language newspaper in the Middle East, published out of Saudi Arabia and Dubai. And we're going to be doing some more writing for them. And also for my mainstream American columns. But I also have 2 podcasts that you can listen to if you're so inclined. This one, this radio show will be podcast on my Arab American podcast, which has, several thousand followers. We're building it up slowly. But you can find me on iTunes. Just look me up, type the Arab Street or Ray Hanania, and you'll find the podcast and listen to all the radio shows and all the political discussions. But if you're interested in just American politics, I had to kind of separate the two because people were getting confused. I talk about Arab politics and I talk about American politics. So people who like American politics don't want to talk about Arab politics, and Arabs especially who are interested in Arab politics don't really want to talk about, local American politics. So I have Ray Hanania's, the Ray Hanania podcast, Ray Hanania on Politics podcast, which is also available. That website is rayhananiaonpolitics.com. That's also linked at hanania.com and thedailyhookah.com. And I talk about mainstream issues there, and that's starting to build up a big following. It's all over. It got picked up by Spotify and, all these different podcast hosting stations. So it's starting to grow pretty quick, and I appreciate it. All those people that are interested in American politics, and especially all you guys out there in Radio Land, because a lot of you go to the podcast and you send me emails. I know that when we talk, there's a little fear of coming on radio. Jerry Hubba is a great guy. He's fearless. I think fearless leader. Jerry, you're a good man. You don't need to call back, okay, because we're running out of time. We only got a few minutes. But Jerry is a good guy. He's active. That's why I'm going to dedicate this show to Jerry Hubba in the greater Detroit for Arab American Heritage Month, because he cares. He stands up. And whether you agree with him or not, he's like me. He has an opinion and wants to talk about it. And that's something we should all do. We need to get up there and get involved and become active and not be afraid to criticize. The dictators have taught us or conditioned us not to be critical. Because if we're critical in the Middle East, they kill us. You know, they torture us, they arrest us, they torture us, and then they kill us. And then, you know, we're afraid for our families because the dictators in the Middle East, and you can't single out any country because there are a lot of them, the whole lot of them treat us terribly. And they oppress us. The extremism in the Middle East is horrible and terrible to deal with. So we got extremists to the right of us, and we have in the Arab community and extremism to the left of us in Israel that we got to deal with. It's just horrible. So you need to stand up and be proud, though. Arab American Heritage Month is such an important time. And I'll tell you what, you go to arabamerica.com, I'm on their WhatsApp list, and I'll tell you, I get 1 million messages. They passed, the Orange County Board of Supervisors declared April Arab American Heritage Month. New York, Los Angeles. I know they've done a lot of stuff in Detroit. What's that one lady, Dabala? I think is she the mayor, I think, of one of the towns? I haven't met her. I'd love to interview her sometime. She was able to get a resolution passed there. Detroit's always been involved. Loganville. I'm just going through the whole thing here. Let's take Uthman for a quick comment. Who just called in? Thank you for calling. You're on the Arab Street Radio.
Yes. Good morning.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Thank you.
You called before, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're in.
You hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, okay. My comment is like this. You talked about Manuel, the ex-mayor in Chicago. Why the community there? So he given his voice during his campaign. This is first. Second, the Muslim or the Arab community there is not organized like the other community. So why not making coalition with the African American, for example? I'm here just last time and use the African American leaders there. He says we try to work with the small minority in the other community. So he's not listening to us. Why the Arab American he not give he making coalition with African Americans there? He become powerful.
Listen, this
is my question.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We need to work with the African American community.
Even one time in news, I think CNN, Farrakhan, he said this same thing. He says
Farrakhan is a little off the deep end. You know, Farrakhan even doesn't represent the African American community.
I know, but it's not talking general.
But there are other leaders. There are other leaders who do support us. But you're right. We need to reach out and build coalitions with them.
So the problem is we get all upset. African American. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Othman, listen, I got to go. I only got a minute left. But I want to thank you for calling. I want to thank everybody for listening. You go to my website at hanania.com or thedailyhookah.com. You can get this podcast and comment on it. If you didn't want to call in, I want to thank Mike for running the board, and thank you all for listening. Remember, this April is Arab American Heritage Month. Visit arabamerica.com. Warren and Amal David, thank you for doing all that you do. You guys have a great month, and I'll talk to you next month on the second Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.